Dr. Gowri Motha, for you, what is the favorite part of your day and your job?
The favorite part of my day is when I actually meet a pregnant mother and I'm able to offer her some very simple and effective guidelines. And when I see the look of relief upon her face, that here's something that she can do all by herself to prepare for a gentle birth, that makes me very happy.
Did many mothers come to you in a state of fear?
Yes, of course. I think it's very natural for a pregnant mother to feel a little bit apprehensive about how her birth process is going to be. For a start, most pregnant mothers actually have a wonderful pregnancy. They sail through pregnancy very well. But during the birth process, everything in their body, their physical body, and also mentally, their emotions are challenged. And that is what the gentle birth method is hoping to correct and to help mothers to overcome most of the fears.
And you do work with energy work as well. When you have a new mother, how do you structure her program as to whether she has the Bowen method or reflexology or creative healing, Reiki even?
I wouldn't really define my work as working with energy. I work on a very medical basis because I understand the woman's physiology. I understand the physiology of pregnancy. I understand the mechanics of birth. Actually, I should say the biomechanics of birth. And therefore, my program is based on total common sense. It's about teaching mothers how to eat correctly so that their birth passages are actually soft and giving and flexible enough to be able to allow a baby to be born. And this includes a very careful eating plan and a careful exercise plan, because I think that all pregnant mothers should exercise less rather than more. And physical fitness during pregnancy is to be restricted to brisk walking for 40 minutes to an hour every day. And yoga for pregnancy has got a huge following in this country. But rather, I'd like it to be rephrased as yoga for birth preparation. This is why I've got involved with experts like Francoise Friedman, who has developed a series of micro movements for birthing. And we really want to define it as micro movements for gentle birth. The word yoga is actually going to take a low profile in our gentle birth for movements class, which normally precedes the visualization class and goes hand in hand with it.
I want to ask you something. I know that I once asked you what the most interesting birthing situation you've ever had was, and I love the dolphin story, so please can you tell us about the dolphin reef?
The dolphin birth experience. Well, actually it's a human birth in the presence of dolphins. Two wonderful ladies who are rebirthers approached me and saying that the next step into evolution is interspecies communication between the human race and the aquatic mammals, the cetaceans. And they thought that it would be quite nice if humans learn how to give birth in the presence of dolphins, because dolphins are very good at giving birth in the medium of water. And as the current wave of water birth has overtaken the imagination of all women worldwide, it would be really a nice opportunity for us to be able to give birth in the presence of dolphins. And the dolphins have this amazing ability to send ultrasonic waves to us, which by themselves are healing. We all know that ultrasound waves can remove adhesions in physiotherapy, can also reposition substances in physiotherapy. And therefore, when a baby is engaging in the pelvis and is being born, we were actually imagining and trading on the ultrasonar ability of the dolphin to be able to just give us a sonic boom, maybe for the sacrum, maybe for the tailbone, to just move it a little bit, maybe to just relax the pelvic ligaments, the uterosacral ligaments, and even the other pelvic ligaments around the cervix, to make it easier for the baby to flow out of the body. All unborn babies want to be born completely comfortably. They want to be born in a way that they're hardly touching the mother's pelvic ligaments. They just want to glide out of the mother's pelvis and vagina, because the baby's head is very precious. And as such, the whole of the gentle birth method is geared towards reducing the pressure on the baby's head. This is why we like to visualize that the baby's head is engaging deeply into the pelvis around 38 weeks. And in our visualization classes, which Debbie and I run all the year around, all the year through, on a weekly basis, all our pregnant mothers on the program are invited to come every week and to sit in on these classes, because constant repetition of the same principles, that your baby's head will engage from 36 weeks onwards and be deeply engaged at 38 weeks. Your baby's head will be in the occipital anterior position, so that your baby's face is facing your tailbone when the baby is being born. All these visualizations are put into place.
And repetition, it's like a practice.
Repetition is the key. And coming back to the dolphins, we actually gave all the mothers on the dolphin birthing program, where they were meant to give birth in the presence of dolphins, a complete 3-month program of treatments, visualization classes, and on site where the dolphins were in Dolphin Reef, we had daily classes for 5 weeks, daily massages for the mothers, cranial therapy on alternate days, reflexology on every other day. So they were very well looked after, and they were all on a gluten-free diet, which was just perfect. So the mothers were already going to give birth really well. The additional bonus being the presence of the dolphin. We ran into a few difficulties with the government of that country, which I won't mention. However, one of the ladies was very, very keen on giving birth in Dolphin Reef, and she was probably the best prepared of them all, because she used to free dive with the dolphins, and they used to love interacting with her. So they knew each other very well for 4 weeks before the birth. And on the day of the birthing, we entered a warm pool which was floating amongst the dolphins, but it was a glass pool made out of armored glass, which was 9 foot by 9 foot by 9 foot. But it was full of hot water, just up to the level of about 4 feet of very hot water at 36 degrees centigrade. And there was a small little gangplank and a little ladder which went into the birthing pool. And this pool was secured to the ocean floor with chains and half-filled barrels which helped it to float. And this lady luckily went into labor at midnight. So I just asked her one question: where do you want to give birth? Do you want to give birth in the birthing room in the hotel where we stayed, in the bathtub here, in an inflatable pool here, or do you want to go to Dolphin Reef? And she was already in a deeply zoned out state because she was 3 or 4 centimeters dilated. She said, I came here to give birth with the dolphins, and I want to give birth with the dolphins. So we said, absolutely wonderful. She's so clear, she's so direct, and that's where we're going. So we went straight there. She got into the pool. Lots of helpers around, all the dolphin team. And it was peaceful, it was gorgeous, it was beautiful, it was midnight. She was in the pool. And I had one of my friends from London who was a very senior midwife who came with me. She was in the pool with the mother and the father. Her name was Sue. And she had the honorable task of taking fetal heart with the underwater monitor every 10 minutes or so, just to make sure everything's fine. I actually stayed out of the pool till the very last minute. When I asked, Sarah, by now your baby should have slid out. What's happening? She said, I'm a bit distracted. There's a frog man under the pool. He's trying to film my birth and I don't want him there. So I gestured to him that he can leave, that this moment is probably not meant to be on film. It was too sacred. So I got into the pool at that time, and I stood behind her and held her waist and her hips in my hands. I was fully dressed. I just went in just as I was. And I just swayed her hips from side to side. I could hear the dolphin swimming by and could see them through the glass. They were looking extremely curious. I noticed that the dolphins seemed to be amused, and they were swimming by rapidly, at a hugely fast pace, so that they were kind of barely seen and noticed by us, but I could see them. And at one point I got one of the dolphin trainers to bring the oldest female dolphin to the edge of the pool, and I asked Sarah to lean over the pool and just stroke her beautiful head. And the dolphin's beak was just at the edge of the pool, and the dolphin seemed to go into a trance as the pregnant mother stroked her head. And all these vibes were coming through to the pregnant mother just about to give birth. And then we went back into our trance, and I could say that Sarah was really in deep, deep trance. So deep that she really had lost all her physical awareness, that she was in a zone where she felt that she was just swimming with the dolphins out there in the deep part of the ocean. She felt as if she was in a dream zone all by herself. So much so that I got overtaken by her trance. I was behind her and I was in a dream as well. But somehow, because of some sixth sense, I opened my eyes and I saw that the baby had already delivered into the water. And there wasn't any sound from Sarah. She wasn't even aware the baby had been born. And then I looked down and said, "Oh, the baby is born." And then I remember her distinctly turning around to look at me saying, "Really?" Which is like the most amazing experience of my whole life, that I had to tell a mother that she'd just given birth.
That is amazing. And but you said to me earlier as well that the dolphins distinctly seemed to know what was going on.
They distinctly knew what was going on, and in the far distance the younger dolphins were leaping in the water and making little whistling sounds and squeaking and looking very excited. And the younger dolphins would come swimming by really rapidly, casting a beady eye on the proceedings. Sarah was actually very modest. She had a long t-shirt on. So there's no way in which you could actually see the pelvis or the perineum. Just that the baby just slid out. But they knew what had happened, because the minute the baby was picked up by Sarah's husband and me and handed to Sarah's arms, the baby just looked around regally and took a gentle deep breath, almost as if he knew all along what to do. He was just like the prince of the night. And it was really like Christmas. And all the dolphin people came around, and everybody was weeping tears of joy, tears of relief, tears of happiness, and tears of being so moved, because here was a birth which happened as nature wanted it to happen, helped by another species, the dolphins, who emitted these ultrasonic waves, who gave off these high-pitched squeaks and all of that sounds, which put the mother into this deep, deep trance that I still have to see another mother being as deep as Sarah was. So the altered state of awareness. And dolphins have been known to entrain the alpha waves of humans who swim with them, because there are some studies on that with EEG tracings. So if we all go into a pool with various stages of agitation and swim with dolphins for half an hour, and we come out and we have our EEGs taken, electroencephalograms taken, we'll all be at the same frequency. And that is how the dolphins are able to synchronize themselves. That is how they all swim together, leaping together as a pod. And won't it be lovely if the whole of the birthing community in the whole world can work together, leaping together as dolphins?
Beautiful story, Gowri. And I do want to say too, because I love bragging about you for this reason, but you told me a story. I was already in love with you anyway, but it made me fall more in love with you, about doing Reiki on an elephant in distress. And I just thought it was, he was an upset elephant, and you did Reiki and he calmed down?
Yeah, just a little bit, but I was a bit scared of him.
Was it in Sri Lanka or was it in India?
Yeah, it was in Sri Lanka.
That was great. Thank you. That story is awesome. Thank you, Gowri.
Thank you.